Hi, I'm Micheal Maxwell, and today, as promised, we're going to be doing a reading from Dupree's Rebirth. I wanted to read the first chapter of the book for you. Look forward to your comments down below. I'll leave a link at Amazon should you want to purchase your own copy. Available on KDP as well, if KU, Kindle Unlimited, and ebook. So whatever your pleasure is, it is available, and look forward to reading your review or seeing what you think. Okay, so let's get started. Dupree's Rebirth by me, Micheal Maxwell. Chapter 1. Dupree wished he were dead. Not literally, figuratively. No, literally. He hated the fact that the sun came up on another day. He hated the fact that downstairs, maybe, were 3 people he despised. There were probably only 2. His worthless son, Eric, usually slept until noon. So, Dupree was told by his wife. Today was a bit different than other days. Dupree reached over and turned the alarm off at 4:45, pulled the covers up tight around his neck and said, "Screw it." There's some reading this that will, using their best Dr. Phil armchair psychiatry, say Dupree was clinically depressed. Not so. He was angry, resentful, frustrated, overworked, overpaid, undersexed, underappreciated, disgusted, and to sum it all up, he had had enough. Granted, he had, in the same sentence, might not be correct, but that's exactly how Dupree saw his life. He sat on the edge of the bed. He watched the digital numbers magically turn to 9:08. He was 3 hours and 8 minutes late for work. He didn't punch a clock or anything like that, but for 25 years, he had arrived promptly at 6 o'clock, 1 hour and 30 minutes before the first secretary. 2 of the other men at the firm arrived at about the same time as Dupree. It wasn't written that they arrive at 6, but it was followed as if it were chiseled in stone. On his nightstand was a cell phone setting squarely on his iPad. He reached for the cell and, using his index finger, typed the words, "Not coming in." Sick. He hit send and laid back down. The bones in Dupree's knees popped, and the vertebrae in his lower back crackled as he stood. He groaned deeply and made his way to the bathroom. The dark yellow stream of urine struck him as odd. The last time it had been that color was when he was stupidly agreed to a survival bonding weekend in Death Valley. Dehydration, they said. Stupid waste of time, Dupree thought. The reflection in the mirror showed a face he almost didn't recognize. The dark circles under his eyes, combined with the sallow complexion, looked like the dying character in one of those Ebola movies his wife loved so much. He pulled off his pajamas top and saw the thick growth of hair in the center of his chest that was nearly all white. Dupree sighed deeply and decided he would not shave today. He got into the shower and let the 4 wall-mounted massage jets and 12-inch rainforest showerhead scald him. The water was burning his skin. It felt good. It hurt, but he was feeling something. The water was like a healing balm. He closed his eyes as tight as he could. At first he saw bursts of color, and then those worm-like things his doctor called floaters, then black. Dupree let himself slip into the floor of the shower. As he lay motionless, stream fogging the glass of the shower, he thought how much different his life turned out than what he had planned. He was going to be an advocate for the poor and the downtrodden. His law degree would be a license to fight for the injustices of society, right the wrongs of racism, and be an instrument for good. The water was getting colder by the moment. Dupree stood to find the massage jets freezing cold. He shut off the shower. He looked at the squeegee his wife insisted he use at the end of every shower and raised his middle finger to it. He was not going to do it. Not today. Not tomorrow. Never again. The guilt he felt for not going to the office was weighing heavy on Dupree. His mini-revolution crumbled, and he pulled open the underwear drawer. He dressed in his most comfortable Brooks Brothers suit and tassel loafers. For a brief moment, Dupree stood at the top of the stairs. From below him in the kitchen, he could hear the screaming of his daughter's high-pitched nasal voice. When she paused for a breath, her mother took over. Their words were indecipherable, but the fight would break down to one of three categories: her lacking of anything to wear, her curfew, or how unfair it was that all her friends were going to Cabo for spring break, and she was not allowed to go. As he entered the kitchen, neither female looked his direction. His favorite cup was sitting next to the toaster. He poured his first cup of coffee of the day and walked to the sliding glass door overlooking the backyard. Alejandro, the gardener, was trimming the bushes against the back fence. Now there's the life, Dupree thought. Would you please tell your daughter to watch her tone with me? His wife demanded. Dina, could you ease up a tad bit? Dupree asked grudgingly. Ugh, I hate that name. Why did you stick me with that stupid Disney princess ducking around my neck? Call me Renee. I've told you 1,000 times. The girl did not ease up. She screamed louder. Dupree glanced at the sliding door to see if it were going to shatter. See what she's like? I don't know how much more of this child I can take. What high school girl is allowed to stay out until 2 a.m? Ashley, Jen, and Heather, that's who. Would you please tell her she's stunning my social networking to the point I won't have any friends in a month? Dupree's daughter commanded. Look, you two have got to stop arguing. Let's have a nice, quiet discussion. Dupree said firmly but diplomatically. I'm not arguing, the wife screamed. There you go again, taking her side. I am not taking anybody's side. I would simply like a little civility. As usual, you bend to the whip of the slave master. Dina threw her jellied toast across the room and ran out of the kitchen. Now see what you've done? Why can't you just be a father and take control of your child? Dupree's wife folded her arms across her chest and glared at him. Me? All I did was ask for a civil conversation. I can't communicate with someone who's screaming at the top of their lungs. You are gutless. Dupree turned his back to the slider and under his breath said, God, I hate that woman. What's up? The sound of Eric's voice shocked Dupree. He turned to see his 23-year-old standing shirtless in a pair of pajama bottoms, barely being held up by his hip bones. Good morning, sweetheart. What's to eat? I'm starved. You look it, Dupree mumbled. Whatever you want, Angel, the boy's mother said with a syrupy smile. Hey, Pops, you got any money? Dupree turned and faced the boy. He noticed a new tattoo adorning his son's bony ribcage. He was determined not to start a row. As a matter of fact, I don't. What happened to the $40 I gave you 3 days ago? You know, the boy said. No, Eric, I don't think I do. Explain. Whatever, Eric grunted, opening the refrigerator. Quickly scanning the shelves, Eric took the cap off the half-gallon milk jug and took 3 large glugs and put it back in the fridge. Without a word, he turned and left the room. Dupree couldn't have counted to 10 when the shrill cries of Diana came from the top of the stairs. Mom, Eric has been in my room again. He stole $20 out of my purse. Diane, I'm late for work. I can't deal with her right now. She's a lying-ass bitch, Eric roared. You can't just leave now. Why do you have to be the one? Why do I have to be the one? Diana demanded. Because you chose to be a stay-at-home mom, and you've done a fine job, Dupree sarcastically replied. Diane was still yelling and cursing at him as the garage door slammed shut behind him. He started the car and sat for a long moment staring at the garage door opener on his sun visor. Dupree sighed deeply and reached to press the button. The law offices of Atherton, Miller, and Chase were 18-minute drive from Willow Creek, the gated community where Dupree lived. It was a fairly direct route. There was a left-handed turn. When he left the gate, a right onto Charles Street, where his office was. The car rolled through the business district, never hitting a single red light. When he finally hit the red light, he made a right-hand turn. He saw an ice cream parlor and pulled over. I want an ice cream cone, he said to no one. Sadly for Dupree, the sign on the window read, open at 11. It was 10:15. Oh, well, he said, genuinely meaning it. He pulled away from the curb. It was okay. He wasn't angry. Didn't matter. He drove on. He found himself humming along with the radio. As he drove, he realized he was smiling from the heart. He meant it. There was no one to see, but the stretching of his cheeks felt so good. It's time for Beetle Lunch Pail, your daily lunchtime dose of the Fab Four, the radio announcer said cheerfully. Dupree looked at his watch. He had been driving for hours. It was nearly 12 o'clock. Ahead he saw a sign that boasted, "Best burgers in town." He looked for the drive-thru. There was none. He pulled in anyway. "Welcome to Billy's. Can I take your order?" Cute teenage girl smiled at Dupree as he approached the counter. "Best burger in town, huh?" Dupree said with a broad smile. "I want one." "Yes, sir. What would you like on it?" "Whatever's the best." "That would be everything," the girl said with a giggle. Dupree looked down at the girl's name tag. "Mindy, I'll have a chocolate shake instead of the Coke." Mindy rang up the order. Dupree paid, and she handed him a number. "It's kind of silly to give you a number. I'll bring it out to you." "Great." The dining room was empty. Dupree picked a booth by a window. Before long, cars began pulling into the parking lot. Singles, couples, guys in work trucks, 4 kids in a lowered Honda Civic, all streamed in the door. Suddenly, the little dining room was filled with laughter and conversation. After a few minutes, Mindy brought out a tray and set it down in front of Dupree. "There you go. I hope you like it. I made the shake extra thick." This kid is actually happy to be at work, Dupree thought. She likes what she's doing. She's proud of it. As he tipped up the cup to get the very last drops of chocolate shake, he heard one of the guys at the table near him say, "Okay, back to work we go." To Dupree's amazement, one of the others at the table said, "I can't wait to see how this job turns out." These guys like their job too. It was the second time in less than an hour someone showed joy in their work. As he stood, Dupree took another look around the room. These people were happy. He let the thought sink in. He reached in his pocket and took a $20 bill from his money clip. Mindy approached the table. "All done?" "Yes, it was delicious." "Best burger in town?" Mindy grinned. "Best burger and shake." The fries were pretty darn good too. Dupree turned and slipped the 20 under the French fry basket. "That's for you." "I don't know what to say." Mindy's eyes welled up with tears. "How about have a nice day?" Dupree winked at her and headed for the door. Well, that's the first chunk of Dupree's Rebirth. From there, Dupree goes on an adventure and a journey that will change his life forever. And over the course of the next 4 books in this series, you'll meet a man who truly is reborn and finds a life outside of the LA humdrum treadmill he's lived on for the past 25 years. I hope you'll take a look. I hope you've enjoyed this reading, and I hope you'll come back next time when I'm going to be reading, let's see, what will it be? How about the first chapter of The Time Peddler, the first book in the Time Peddler Time Travel series. I think you'll enjoy it. So, until next time, don't forget to do something nice for somebody today.